Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Free the Trade. I'm DK305007. Today is March 10th, 2025. It is 8:11 a.m. Let's jump into the market, see kind of what's going on, all the changes and stuff that have happened over the weekend, and see how we're going to pull this one out of the bag. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Fear and Greed Index. One of the first things that we like to take a look at on our morning analysis. If you look here, we're noticing that we're sitting at 19 as our base level. If you have checked it before 8 a.m., you would have known that this is actually up from its previous, which was 18, around 7:30, 7 a.m. this morning Central Time. And so we are seeing a positive trend already, even before market is opened. Market does open in 17 minutes. Let's take a look here. All right. The S&P 500, it's 125-day moving average. It is Ving back up, what we're seeing. There is a correction here. There's still a lot of fear in the market. That's why this is still showing 19. We want to see it at least 43 or higher. 45, 50. Up in that neutral range. But yeah, this is what we have to work with right now, so that's okay. Taking a look at junk bond demand, it's actually on a trend down. That is a lagging indicator though, so be that as it may. VIX is increasing, which generally means a bear market. The put and call options ratio, which is the 5-day average put to call ratio, is on a downtrend. However, that also is a lagging indicator. And it's above 0.80. The highest it can go is 1. So that's not exceptional, but whatever. Stock price strength. This right here is the 52-week highs and lows, and just kind of does an average or percent across the whole S&P 500. Yep. So overall, it's not looking wonderful. It's not looking too particularly terrible. Let's jump into the news and see what's going on. Looks like futures are down today, according to the news. Jump into the SPY news, particularly. Let's see what we have here. Yeah, 569. Not wonderful. 568.37 in pre-market for the SPY price. Okay, so all in all, not a ton of news, honestly. There's not really much going on, it looks like. If you want to take a look over here at SPY. A lot of different news articles here on Webull. It's a great aggregator of market news. This is really, really interesting. We had the FOMC meeting the other day. It was actually a pretty mild report. Things seem to be on track. And yeah, basically he said, everything looks great. We're just gonna continue as we are. And you didn't see the normal dip that we generally see with the FOMC meetings. And so if everything's growing at a solid pace, it kind of begs the question, why is there still such a negative sentiment in the market? Why is there so many news articles that are just touting the downfall of the United States and the US economic the US markets? It's kind of a crazy thing when you have the Fed that's saying, oh yeah, things are doing great here, jobs are looking fine, stock market's growing, inflation's doing great, everything's on track. And then at the same time you have these news articles that are just absolutely touting a bear market. Oh, things are bad, things are real bad. We've got a recession and a bear market coming up. We've got this and that. And you see this flip-flop back and forth each day, where the SPY ends higher in the afternoon, and then it ends lower the next day. And these media outlets will jump on that and just completely write and release contradictory news. That the previous day they're saying, oh, is this the end of the bear market? Is this the end of the pullback? Are things looking up now? And then the next day, nope, it's recession, it's the Great Depression again. And then the next day, oh, SPY closed $2 higher. And it's just this back and forth right now. It's really, really volatile. It's really, really not wonderful. But I think we need to keep in mind that the market has been overinflated for the last bit, quite a bit overinflated. And so when we're talking about this normal market cycle or this normal pullback, I mean, to be honest, this should be something that we expected. So I'm gonna try to take a look here and see if I can show you guys something on Robinhood real fast. Okay. Let's talk about EPS. Let's see, I'm trying to find these. I guess this doesn't have as much information as the app generally shows. Maybe we can find it in Yahoo Finance or Google Finance. I'm gonna go to Google Finance and try it here. All right, here we go. The S&P 500. SPY. Pre-market 568.15. Let's see if we can find their technicals. And if you're looking in the Robinhood app, this is actually something that is way easier to find. I don't see where they have the fundamental. Interesting. Let's look here. Huh. All right, so what I'm looking for right now is the fundamental data. It'll be under here. There's no way, right? Profile, maybe? This is actually kind of crazy. Oh, there we go, right here. So what I was looking for actually was the earnings, the expected or anticipated earnings. Because what you can do is you can take a look at the earnings per share, which is the EPS, and basically tells you how much each individual share of the company, well, basically it takes the total earnings and it divides it by the amount of shares that have been released, and then that will give you an EPS, which is earnings per share. Then you can take the standard price of the underlying security or equity, 575.92, and you divide it by that EPS, and you get this ratio, and it's called the PE, or the what does that stand for? Price to earnings ratio, I believe. And a healthy PE is about 20 to 25%. And so what we're seeing is that SPY has been dropping, and it's just getting to a point where the PE ratio is actually the normal standard for a for an equity or for a security. So we see all these news articles saying, oh, this is awful, this is bad. But what we're seeing actually is that the PE ratio is really unhealthy. Like, I'm going to take you for an example to Tesla. Not going into political arguments or whatever, but let's take a look at Tesla's PE ratio. You can like it, you can hate it. It's at 128.13. If we remember, a healthy PE ratio is 20 to 25%. This is 128.13. That's more than 100% higher than what it should be. Let's go take a look at Nvidia. Nvidia has also been falling recently. Let's take a look at this one. It's only just now getting down into the 30s. This was about 60 the other day. So yeah, Nvidia has fallen quite a bit, but it's got an analyst price at 150, but its PE ratio was so overinflated that it's mind-boggling. Like you kind of wonder, hey, this is so top heavy. When is it going to come down? And so the fact that it lasted so long up way above its PE ratio is just it's astounding. You can go look at any of these other tickers and such. Let's look at Meta. Another large. This one's just now getting down to 2025 as well. Apple. 37.89. And so these analysts and such who are touting that it's such an anomaly for the stock market to be dipping and recovering like it's been over the last little while, you have to wonder, are they even considering the actual fundamentals of the stock and considering that the PE ratio or the price to earnings ratio is so out of whack, it's so upside down? Like, anyone who says they're a financial analyst and is surprised at kind of the correction we're seeing, you have to wonder, what they're looking at. Because we've done the math on the S&P 500, we're looking at the fundamentals of the stock, and everything we're seeing says, hey, everything's overvalued, it's going to crash. And then when it starts to crash, the first thing they can think of is recession. So that being said, what we're seeing is expected, it's normal, and it would be more concerning if we didn't see things turning or correcting back to like a normal price to earnings ratio and correcting back to a normal price level. So all that to say, we did the math. With COVID, we expected about a 566 or 567 price on SPY. When we took out COVID, we expected between a 576 and 577 price on SPY. We thought taking out COVID and doing the average would give us the 575. It did, and we saw it hovering around the 575, but now we're seeing it dip down a little more. But we're still completely within that level. We just didn't realize that COVID, or that we should consider the COVID one. But we did do both of the. We did the calculation with COVID, and then we also did it without COVID. And if you're wondering what calculation I'm talking about, a few days ago, we took the highs and the lows and the dip from the highest point to the lowest point that we've had through all the historical data available to us on SPY. We averaged it out and found the normal drop. And we concluded that basically SPY sees about a, in its worst market pullbacks, it can see about a $50 drop. And that's something that's completely normal. Things recover, and it's not really associated with a depression, or I'm sorry, a recession, or a the stock market crashing. And so we concluded that this one, since it's based on a lot of this investor sentiment and a lot of the fear and greed factors of the market, that we'd be totally okay. And so far, it's held pretty true to our levels. It hasn't dipped below it. And so hopefully that remains the same. So I don't know. We'll see. All right. Currently, SPY is trading at 567.50. Or I'm sorry, 567.68. The low is 567.50, and the high is 569.10. I did play around with the settings within the last couple of days, and I found that you can actually mark the high and low dynamically. So if we zoom out, you'll notice that the highs and the lows of the stock chart are updating based on the dynamic chart data that we have. So super cool feature that I just found. It's up here in settings, and let's see, high and low price. That's the one right here. So that turns it on and off. But yeah, that's an interesting feature that I found. You can also change this here, which shows the extended hours. Robinhood Legacy, or I'm sorry, Robinhood Legend does not show that information by default. You can also highlight the trading session, which shows you when the market's open and closed. You can see this kind of colored part here showing when the market's actually, I don't know if it's, I can't remember if it's open or closed during that time. Probably open. Or maybe actually it looks like that shows when it's closed, and then this area shows when it's open. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, the stock market is now open. Let's take a look. All right, early fundamentals. We're in the middle of a sell cycle. I'm expecting an increase. We are in a downtrend right now. Let's watch. There it is, the morning bump. Mondays always usually come with or I say always, generally come with a morning bump. Friday afternoons generally come with a little bit of a dip as people sell off. They don't want to hold it over the weekend. So best thing to do is kind of watch the stock markets at open. You can make your trades if you like. Generally, it's more volatile, and you'll get better results if you sit back and watch rather than trying to place a trade. So that's what we're going to do today, is just kind of sit back and watch. We will be making trades later, potentially. But right now, there we go. First candles in the books. A rather strong uptrend. Let's see the volume on that. Yeah. Over 500,000 volume. drove our price up to, see, 568.31. Let's continue to wait. Looking at our 15-minute trend, we're closing out a sell cycle. It looks like it's been a pretty long sell cycle. Hopefully we have a larger buy cycle like we did back here on March 7th. You can see it's been pretty weak over the weekend. Looking at the 5-minute. Let's see. Trading around the 50 RSI. This one's actually increasing quite a bit here, heading towards that 80 RSI. There it is. We have crossed over into a buy cycle. And here's our first sell-off of the morning. And if you look, you can see how, we have this low volume, a lot of trading back and forth. Price is not moving much. Then it drops, boom, goes way up, boom. We have another candle, it's green, and then immediately we have this sell-off. This is a really, really good example of kind of that early morning volatility where, it goes up and it goes down quite a bit. And if you are in the wrong trade or you don't follow the trend of the day, then you can really get stuck with a bad trade here. Looks like we're actually going to hit a golden cross here, potentially, on the 5-minute chart. Which is interesting because the RSI is actually going down, and we're entering into a sell cycle, so we'll want to watch that and see how that kind of impacts our trading. I assume this is going to widen out a little more, though, since we're going into such a deep sell-off right here. Now, imagine we saw that first candle and we bought calls. We would have been up, but if we didn't take profit over here, we would now be down quite a bit on those calls. And another rather large drop here. Let's take a look at QQQ. QQQ is the ETF that tracks the NASDAQ. It's a good indication of the tech stocks. It's a little more volatile than SPY, but it's also a really good indicator of the United States markets. You can see this one had a slight bump, and then it really dove as well. This ETF IWM is the Russell, tracks the Russell index. Once again, it's also even more volatile. So it had a large candle upwards and then two large candles down. What you'll see with these three indexes is that they generally follow each other, and so an interesting strategy that you can employ is to look at the different indexes, or the ETFs that track those indexes, and figure out, hey, which one of these is not following everyone else? Which one's out of alignment? And if you find one that is out of alignment, you can generally make a trade towards whatever the trend of the other ones are, the majority trend, and catch the correction. Because generally what you'll see is they'll all get back into alignment with each other. And right now they all look to be pretty close, so there's not an opportunity for a trade there. IWM is increasing again. We did have a lower low. Looks like we're going to have a pretty strong upward trend for now. We're seeing that on SPY as well. I'm assuming that means that we're going to cross over and have that golden candle over here. Or I'm sorry, the golden cross over here. On the 5-minute. There it is. There's our small little dip. We're already up almost to 50% or 50 RSI. And if you'll notice, we're trading right below the SMA 200, which is this light blue line here. $568.97 is what that's at right now. And I want to look what it's at over here. Sitting at 572.26, and then over here 573.41. I'm going to go out to the 30-minute as well. 576.65. Okay. I think overall we could potentially have an upwards trend today once things finally settle from the morning open. I do think we'll see a trend up today, and it's part of the reason is because things are finally settling down. We talked about the EPS earlier. Things are finally settling down. The FOMC meeting, everyone really looks to that. Institutions and retail investors, they're looking to the FOMC to confirm their fears on the market or to negate those fears, and we had our fears negated. Yeah, so why are the markets open right now? So the United States had its time change, and so generally there's a saying called spring forward, fall back. In the spring, we go forward 1 hour. So the majority of states have a time change, and things open an hour earlier in the spring. In the fall, it goes back. I don't know how. I don't know if that's something that we'll continue to do, because I've heard there was a rumor that time change is going away, and this could be our last year of time change. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's why the market's open right now. We did have our time zone change. And so for us right now, it's 8:37. The market opens at 8:30 Central Time. 2 days ago, it would be 7:30 right now. So that's what happened here. And that's why the markets are open. I was actually really, leading up to the stream today, I was trying to figure out how that was all going to work out. I was like, I know we had time change, and I was thinking about some of our other members of our community who aren't in the United States, and I was like, this is going to be so weird trying to explain that. So I was prepared for that question. I was prepared. And so thank you for asking. That's a really good question. Changes in the middle of the night. It's so inconvenient. Yeah, and you wake up the next day, you've lost an hour of sleep, and you actually, it's kind of, doesn't it change at like 3 a.m. or something like that, Danny? Or 2 a.m., it jumps straight to 3 a.m.? I don't even know. But yeah, it is really inconvenient. We woke up this morning, it was pitch black outside. Normally when we wake up, it's early morning dawn, it's soft light, but no, it's pitch black outside, so I don't appreciate that. I know a lot of other people don't either, so. 2 a.m. Yeah, so if it changes at 2 a.m., it jumps straight to 3 a.m. I don't know. I'm not usually awake to watch that happen, so. I just know when I go to bed and when I wake up the next day, it's going to be an hour earlier. A lot more car crashes in the week following the time change too. That's an interesting statistic. I didn't know that. But that being said, the way you feel, it's almost like jet lag. If you've ever traveled someplace and then internationally where the time zone is different, and then come back, you have this weird couple of days where you're trying to adjust to the new change in time, and yeah, it feels kind of like that sometimes. More tired. I enjoy the fall one though. I mean, you get an extra hour of sleep. That's amazing. So for one day in the fall, I'm really happy. All right, we've got a pretty strong uptrend now. We do want to watch what happens with this 200 SMA. There's going to be a couple things that can happen here. Either it can bounce off the 200 SMA, continue in a downtrend, or it can push through the SMA 200 and have a strong uptrend. With us hitting this golden cross here, we could potentially see it. Yeah, there we go. It's pushed through on the 1 minute. We've got a new high for the day. Now, we could see it trade along sideways along this SMA 200 or do a market correction and a dip back down below it. Personally, I'd like to see it push through and continue an upward trend, but looking at the RSI of the 5-minute and seeing how we're still pretty far below the SMA 200 on the 5-minute, we should look to this level here as like a dynamic resistance. So, and here we go, we are trading back down. We'll have to watch this one to see what happens. This is looking like a bearish candle pattern though. Boom, it is done. It was a bearish candle pattern. Do want to see if we can have I don't know why we're not seeing that right now. So this bar close countdown tells us when the candle is going to end, and honestly it's not showing up right now and I don't know why. Interesting. Okay, I guess we don't have that information today. But yet generally the price level would have a timer underneath it that would show how much time is left for the candle. Okay, so far not really anything crazy today. We're just gonna trade along this SMA 200 for a little bit before deciding to go up or down past it. Looks like we have a little bit of volume, a little bit of strength, so could see it push up a little more. There we go. Looks like the trend is going to continue here. And I'll say that and it turns into a doji candle. So what a doji candle is, it's one of this cross candles with, let me see if I can find it better. Yeah, okay, here we go. So something like this. This is a doji candle. It's just pretty much a cross where there's not much difference in the open and close prices. Has a pretty short stem or wick. And generally what that means is that the market is losing. Here's some other examples of doji candles. And what it generally means is the market is losing strength. This right here is called a, well, a firefly candle. And it can be a bullish candle, but this one doesn't look like it's got enough volume. Explain. Okay, here's the opposite of a firefly candle called a graveyard candle or a graveyard doji. And you'll see that the cross is at the bottom part of the wicks, and generally that will indicate a bearish trend in the market. Here we go. Here we go. This one is the firefly, which is the opposite of this one. And this one generally comes right before a movement upwards in the market. So you can see, boom, it happened. We had one more red candle, and then we had this uptrend. If you look at the beginning of a longer trend, you'll generally see these as well. So look down here, boom, down, you start increasing. This is an engulfing candle for the previous. And then we have this longer trend up. So you can actually do a candle by candle analysis of the market to understand where these reversals are going to happen. And so when we see something like this, it tells us that our next candle is pretty important. So we watch, boom, this one seems to be fine, there's less volume, and now this is the important one. And what we're seeing right now is it looks like it's forming into a doji or a graveyard doji, meaning that there could be a potential reversal. So we've been in an uptrend, we could see the end of the uptrend shortly. Okay, it's again showing not a lot of movement, so we could be nearing that top. And what this is indicating is, let's take a look at a green candle, right? So this individual green candle, we're seeing this bottom part is the opening price. We're seeing the wick being the low price and the high price, and then the top part of this bar again is the close price. So we have a movement in price from here, dropping all the way down, all the way up, and then closing back near where it started, so right here. On the red candle, it's the opposite. We opened here, we dropped, or we went up and we went down, and then we closed right here at this price. So that's how you read a bar or a candle. Do I use candle patterns like flags? I do. I'm not really, I know in the stream and stuff, we put a lot of emphasis on like technical indicators like moving averages and the RSI. But yes, I actually do read candles as well. In fact, I have a layout here for a blank chart that helps me just to focus on the candles. And I sometimes trade like this without indicators. Here comes a downtrend here. Which if we were looking over here and looking at the pricing of this candle, we should be expecting another decrease. So, and if we look at the RSI, what we'll see is that we were on a downtrend with the RSI too. So, see, we're heading into a sell-off cycle. So we're going to see that trend continue for a little bit. A lot of fun. Now we're seeing a firefly candle, so we might have a short upward trend. I don't think it's going to be long because it's in the opposite direction of the trend, and it could even just be a, hey, this next buy or this next sell-off candle was too big, and so we might have a one candle reversal. So looking at the candle analysis on the 1 minute, there's a lot of extra noise, and so you kind of want to look for multiple candle patterns or multiple candle confirmations, especially as you go into like the 30 seconds or into tick by tick analysis. And so sometimes the candle analysis is better on like the 5 minute, 15 or 30 minute, or even on like further out, like the 3 month swing trading and holding for a couple months kind of thing. A lot of market noise in the 1 minute charts. What a crazy weekend that we've had. I had a pretty, yep, and there it is. There's the correction that we were expecting. Do I think the correction is going to be big? Probably not humongous. We're like right in the middle in the RSI, and so if we do have a movement up or down, it's not going to be a major movement up and down. We generally see the bigger movements up and down when we're near the edges of the RSI, or near a support or resistance level that it hasn't been our strong support or resistance level that it hasn't been able to break. This looks like a really boring trade day, to be honest. I was expecting a little more volatility, but I mean, it's pretty straightforward right now, which I guess is easier. But it also, I mean, maybe it's because the lower volume, so maybe the trend's more defined. I'm not sure. Not sure why it's so. Seems to be pretty easy though. Okay, we have hit that golden cross level on the 5 minute chart. Just barely crossed. There's not a ton of momentum upwards though. It's just this very lazy movement upwards. So I'm not placing a trade yet. I do kind of want to catch a longer trade, and since I have a cash account, I can only trade I can only use my cash once per day. And so if I make one trade and use all my cash, or if I make 3 trades and use a portion of the cash, once I make those trades, I do have to wait until the next day for those funds to settle. And so what I am looking for and waiting for is the most optimal trade that I can get the most bang for my buck, I guess. We've got a graveyard doji showing up on the 1 minute. Potentially means, oh, and it dissolved itself, so we'll watch. The other thing is, and what I was, talking about just now kind of illustrates that, but you can watch these candles confirm or change in real time. And we did see the graveyard doji appear, so we were expecting a dip, but you need to wait for them to actually, end and finalize that candle. And then wait for the confirmation before making your trades. It's just generally a better idea. We're heading for another death cross on the 1 minute. And going into a sell cycle, so I imagine that the stock's going to dip pretty hard here. And what we're hoping to see is that it goes down to the RSI 30. Sorry. It goes down to the RSI 30. And then as we enter into a buy cycle, we get another golden cross with a opportunity to buy in and have a little bit of a run. I am happy to see that this is starting to trend back up again, though. Here. These candles. Going to the Qs now, or QQQ. I mean, even here we can see it better illustrated. Longer candles, more volatility. We're already down to the 30 RSI on this chart. Let's check out the small caps, IWM, Russell Index. Once again, it's also very, very, very well defined here. We're not quite past the 50 RSI, so I assume this will dip more. But what this is telling me, if you look at the difference between the Qs and the IWM, that's a great trade, Frank. Great stuff, man. $42 profit on a 564 put. Not bad. I would have held your put though, because with that graveyard flashing and us going into a death cross, we've got a longer trend going. So I assume there's still some profit in that. And yeah, if you look at the chart, we've got a long drop coming in. So I would have held a little bit longer, but great profit. $42 is nothing to sneeze at. You just made some free money. Hello, Sri Arto. All right, and now that we have a firefly pattern, I would probably sell at this candle. So you could have eked a little bit more out of that, but now it would be a good time to exit. And there we go. Now we have a green candle. That's okay. That's okay. If you're in a downtrend and you buy puts and you see a graveyard candle with a death cross coming up, you know that you've got plenty of time. So you made money. That's the big thing. You made money. At 30% profit, that's a decent trade on any day. Still just waiting. I don't know that I'm going to buy in yet or really do much of anything. Just SPY looks really, really sluggish for me for right now, and I don't understand why. The Qs might be a better opportunity to buy in, honestly, for now. Look at IWM. This could even be a better opportunity to buy in, I think. Look at this. Very, very strong, easy to read trend. It's going all the way up to the top of the RSI. It's dipping all the way back down. We're entering a sell-off cycle on the 5 minute. We're in a sell-off cycle on the 1 minute. Very clean lines and trends. So I think that could be an easy read. I don't know what's going on with this guy. I think we have an issue with our charts. There we go. Slight little buy period here. I think this would be a pretty strong trend to follow for now. Charts are messing up for some reason. Don't understand this. Okay. We are in a downtrend on the 5 minute chart. So the fact that this is a reversal trend going up, I wouldn't buy into it because you're fighting against the overall context trend, which is the 5 minute. And so what we'll see is this looks to be near the top. We might see a little bit of a green push after it, but if we're in a downtrend like this, you don't want to follow up. You want to do a put. So you want to wait for it to get to the top and then trade it down. Just really not seeing an opportunity right now. Not a strong opportunity yet. Ah, here we go. This is a potential opportunity. We're entering a buy cycle. We're in a green buy cycle here. This is going to go down and recorrect towards the 30 RSI. We could potentially buy in on this chart. It's not perfect yet, but this is a potential opportunity. And as we're watching, we're seeing it start to trend up even more. Just right here's the firefly candle. We have a doji cross. Probably wouldn't buy in right now. We kind of want to see, we kind of want to see what's going to happen with that. And as we're watching, we do see it start to dip. But this could be giving us a better entry. We did see the MACD start to cross over on the 5 minute chart. We'll need to pay attention to that. Their dip. Heading back down towards that RSI 30. And now we are through our original firefly candle. So we have also reversed trends on the 5 minute chart, which actually I think is a good thing, because what we want is a lower RSI on the 5 minute chart. That means when we do have a reversal, it'll probably be stronger because it'll be reversing on the 5 minute and on the 1 minute. And if we can ride that reversal, we'll have a longer run, a directional run, which is better for calls and puts or single leg options. Once again, we are seeing another firefly candle appear on the 1 minute. That means we'll probably have a little bit of a move upwards soon, which is all right by me, but we are in a downtrend on the contextual 5-minute. So keep that in mind. I also did change up my charts here. Have a 3-chart layout, and over here we can watch calls and puts, the prices for this individual chart setup. So if we're taking a look here at the 0 DTEs, we are seeing those calls lose value pretty quickly, while these puts over here on this side are gaining value. All right, and now as we're getting towards this bottom, this 30, we are seeing a little bit of a firefly, or a doji showing a little bit less upward movement. So we could see this sell-off trend start to close and turn over, cross over into a buy trend. And here we are. We just watched these jump. Holy. $566.27. Look at this price action going on over here. A lot of people buying and selling these things. And here comes the correction. I'm going to wait on this one again. Because I'm waiting for the longer bounce, the longer run. Because if I can only trade once a day, then I want to make sure my trade counts for as much as I possibly can. Another small bearish pattern on the 1 minute, so maybe shouldn't look for that reversal yet, which I'm actually okay with. I'd rather have a deeper movement, because once we push the 5 minute and the 1 minute down to the 30 RSI, and then that 1 minute starts to make a rally, I'll enter as we enter into a buy cycle, and hopefully we do all right there. So does anybody have any questions about anything while we're waiting for a setup? Or does anybody have a topic that we want me to comment on? It has been a minute since we've done our question and answers. Part of the reason for that is we've been in the process of moving, and so we haven't had as much free time as we'd like to work on the courses and work on pushing out more content and stuff. And so we've kind of been just answering the questions live on stream rather than typing them up and creating an article about those topics. And so that is why you haven't seen some of the answers to the questions showing up in chat as much. We have been doing these on the live streams. A setup for a call credit spread. You want me to talk about that, or do you want me? Are you? You want me to talk about looking for a setup for a call credit spread? Yeah, we can do that. Couple different ways. We can look at price levels, which is something that we've previously talked about quite a bit. Let's go to the peak 30-minute. A call credit spread means we're selling calls when we're selling calls, we're selling them above the price, and we're hoping that the price stays below those calls. And so we could look for levels of resistance, and then we want to place those call credit spreads outside of those levels of resistance. How do we know when it's a good time for a call credit spread? Sure. We find a place of resistance, and then we want to wait for a reversal and place those call credit spreads outside of that resistance level. So let's take a look at a chart. I'm going to go to the Qs because they're more volatile, or IWM because it's more volatile and probably easier to see. Okay, so we have this very strong trend here that's up, and then we have another strong trend down. Right. Okay, so the optimal place in this little highlighted area would be right here, anywhere right above this top point. That is where we would want to put a call credit spread. And so how we would analyze and find that would be to look at the chart levels, look at the past history, and then once we see a reversal from this point and it starts going down, we would place that just far enough outside of the highest level on that price that we feel comfortable that it's not going to bounce back quickly and run our position. So at this point, it's a 204.72, so we could do like a 205 and 206 or a 206, 207. We would make our money, and then as the price got farther and farther away from our position, we could do two things. We could close and keep our profit, or we could roll down and close that one and open a 203, 204. And then as it goes farther down, open a different one. That's called rolling. Probably the safest thing to do, though, is just to take your profit. But if you did want more profit, you could kind of chase and follow it down. A little more risky. Generally, it's easier just to take 30-40% profit and call it a day. But those are opportunities and kind of how you look for a setup. The reverse is also true. Right now, we're heading down, down, down. We have a strong downtrend. If this changes to a positive green trend, then what we could do is wait for a reversal here. Once it starts going up, we place behind the lowest price, a couple of dollars maybe. So if this lowest price was 202.63, we could go at 201.20 or 201.200 or 200 199, and we would be a put credit spread. And as the price increased, we would profit off of that change. And here we go. Interesting looking trades coming up here, or candles coming up here. I want to watch how this candle reacts, because if this becomes an engulfing candle, that's a bullish signal, meaning that we should probably buy in here and ride it up. It's not strong enough yet. Let's keep watching. SPY. Not really seeing a buy opportunity here. This is kind of a graveyard candle, but it did end green. Interesting. Still a little concerning. And now we have what looks to be like a firefly candle here. If this confirms itself or closes with that, that could be a signal to buy in. Call credit spreads today? No, I don't think so, because we're so low on the RSI and so low over here on our trend pattern that I don't think that would be a great idea. All right, so there's the Firefly. Here's a strong upward movement. Looks like the bulls are winning. I'm actually placing a trade on IWM. We are at 202. I'm going to go for 203, and I'm maxing out as many as I can here. 742. Buying 7 of them. I actually just bought calls. Hopefully that was a good play. We're going to watch and find out. And what we did, we just bought against the trend, but it is showing signs of a reversal, so I'm okay with this. I'm up 1%. We're now up 2%. All right, and a 20% gain from this is 1.26, and so I'm actually placing on my phone right now a sell for 1.26 for all 7 of them. Be a 20% across the board gains. And we are seeing those in profit now pretty strongly. We're up $55. Or 2%, which isn't terrible. Now we're at 381. We're just going to continue to watch and see what happens. The reversal of trend is the RSI going up. So we bought right here at this price. You see that how it kind of V's, it hits this part, it starts going up. That is what we were looking for. And so we tried to buy at the absolute bottom. Now we kind of need to wait for it to settle out and keep going up. I think we're at a good point for that reversal. If not, we may have to hold these a little bit longer. But I think we're okay for now. Could you still enter? Potentially, yes. We're actually down right now a little bit on our trade. But we entered in like right at the V, and so we can expect to see a little bit of volatility and maybe have to hold a little bit longer. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right, I am going to focus more on these candles and just watch and make sure that we did a decent trade. The trade I made was 203 calls on IWM. So strike price 203, IWM was the ticker, and my average cost was 1.05. We're down a little bit on that. But we also have seen pretty strong profit on it. But I am going to wait and hold this for a little bit. And what we're seeing on the 1 minute right now is that it's pretty even on the buy and sell sides. I'm now up 3%. We're seeing it's pretty even on the buy and sell volume. And so we're trading sideways, which is actually crushing the price down a little bit. But that's not ideal. But I do think we'll have... Yeah, there we go. We're up 8% now. That's $50. Now up $55.72. So we are trending up. This is good. This is fine. I don't know that this was the most optimal trade. But we are seeing the trend on the 5 minute also we're seeing it decrease, so that is good news. And at this point, if you are in profit, you're more than welcome to take some of that profit and call it a good day. Right now we're up 6%. There's plenty of opportunities to take those profits. That's up to you. So in fact, I do think I might take profit earlier since this trade is just kind of hanging sideways. I don't want to let the IV crush take away all of the profit. So I actually might close these a little early too. Let's see. Have a little bit of bear flags. I'm sorry, not bear flags. Bear traps showing up on the 1 minute. Then we have a 2 candle sell signal. I think I'm gonna hold this for a little bit still, because I think our next cycle is going to push us up into the profit. If not, then I'll cut the trade. Go from there. We are still very much trading sideways here, but we are we are heading towards a golden cross on the 1 minute chart. I'm hoping to see that confirmed pretty shortly, and then increase the volume of our calls, which would be incredible. It looks like the early formation of a firefly. A lot of sell candles on this one. And there we go. That candle is complete. Just a standard little sell-off again. Now, if you are still in the trade, I would consider cutting the. I do think we're going to have a reversal shortly because we are heading for that golden cross. You could potentially buy back in, but we're just going to watch and hold for a minute. And if we blow our account on stream, that's okay. We're doing things legitimately. We're not going to pretend. Okay, this is a promising candle here. And I think we're going to see another V from this one. Ever so slightly, we've got a little bit of a higher high and a little bit of a higher low. Hopefully that continues. Now, one thing to note is that on our 5 minute chart, we are still in a downtrend. That is something we need to consider with this trade. There we go. There's a really bullish candle right there. And it dissolved again. And it's always funny because now we have this sideways trading here. which is crushing the value of our calls. And it goes to show like that was a decent uptrend. However, we entered maybe a little early, and now that it's trading sideways somewhat, we haven't really gone up or down, but the call value has decreased by quite a bit, by like what, $10 per contract. All right, now we're seeing another strong uptrend. And once again, it is falling prey to the sell-offs. Very sideways trading right now. I mean, honestly, look at this. Where we bought at and where we're at right now is only like a 20 cent, 30 cent difference. We just really haven't crossed any strike prices at all. Very low momentum, both sides. At this point though, we are in a downtrend on our 5-minute, our contacts, our 5-minute context chart. We are at a 30 RSI. We are just about at our stop loss as far as on this trade. And so we need to start making a decision. Are we going to stay in this position, or are we going to cut the losses and live to trade again? And as we're waiting for that, hit a strong upward trend again. So let's just sit and wait. I was expecting this. I was hoping for this. I thought it was going to come over here. We hadn't seen it come here. So all right, now that strong upwards movement is starting to be tampered down by some sell-offs. Very strong sell-offs here. And the bulls are pushing back against the bears and are increasing that price just a little bit. And once again, we're still right in the middle between the 203 and the 201 strike prices. I'm sorry, between the 203 and the 202 strike prices. We really haven't gone outside those bounds. And that can be really, really frustrating on a trade, because you bought in either calls or puts, and right now neither the calls nor the puts are really doing anything except for losing value, because it's trading sideways. It's not breaking through those strike price resistance levels. And so what we're hoping, since we bought calls, is that it'll go above 203 on the price. And if it does go above the 203 on the price levels, then we should see some nice profit here. Hopefully this candle here can turn into a Firefly Doji, which would be optimal. Okay, this is a bad sign right here. It's showing a graveyard candle, meaning that we could potentially have a little bit longer of a sell-off. When would be a good time to sell? when we're in profit. So looks like that candle dissolved, so that's actually a good sign. So we're still just waiting. If you're in profit, you can take your profit. I'm still holding mine, even though we saw some decent profit. I think there's a little bit better of a time to sell off. I'm going to continue holding. We haven't quite hit our stop losses yet. And we are, let's see, we're still trading sideways. Yeah, and this is why we should always keep in mind the context of the 5-minute chart whenever we're placing this trade. We had a really good setup. We made the trade, but we didn't take our profits as early as we probably should have, and so now we're stuck holding for another buy and sell cycle. And I'm still okay with this. Still okay with this trade for now. I haven't seen anything that makes me too terrified about it. But as someone who is, who's been trading for a long time versus someone who hasn't been trading for a long time, I can understand the nervousness and such that this type of trade, when you see your position go against you, but not quite hit that stop loss, but it just hovers around on this sideways kind of trade and doesn't really go anywhere. It can be pretty aggravating and stuff. So I am still holding mine, and we are just still waiting and seeing. If I do decide to cut the loss, I will let you guys know as well. For now, I think we're okay. Like I said, we're still in between. What is my stop loss? It's my standard stop loss. 5% portfolio value on the per contract. And once again, we're still in between the 202 and we're still in between the 203. Our calls are at the 203 mark. If this stock can push back through the 203 price level, they'll do really, really good. Now the problem is, let's see, where'd we buy these? Back here. So they're a little bit below us. We bought them back here. It's only 20 cents less than when we bought. And so what we're seeing right now is called IV crush. And so the decrease in value on these calls is not because the price is moving away. It's just because it's hovering. And so in the event that this call does decide to bump up to 203, or if it hits 204, these will increase in value exponentially. But because it's just hovering at the same price, we're seeing this immediately decrease in value on both sides. It is very frustrating when your price isn't moving hardly at all. And you can see on this too, on the 5-minute, we're just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth on the RSI. We're not making a run in one direction or the other. And that's kind of, I wish we hadn't have done this trade. I wish we had a more of a V, but because it's not a terrible trade and it follows all of our rules still, I am still going to hold it for a little bit until I see a direction either away or for the trade. And so we're starting to see a little bit of a direction forming here, and then once again it's just right back. So very aggravating. But you'll now notice we are at our low. And so if we do decide I was going to say, if we do decide to make a change, it'll be any moment now because we're at our low and heading back up towards our high of the day, which, by the way, is almost 204. And so the 203 is within the high of the day, which is the 204, and it takes advantage of the fact that our 202 is our low for the day. Still not a terrible trade. It's just we're not really seeing any change in the price right now. I think if we get through this 5-minute sell cycle and it changes into a buy cycle, I think we'll be okay. And once again, we're still hovering around the 202, not making any progress in really any direction. Let's see. The day chart, we've got a high of 205.13. For open, we have a high of 204.74, so almost a 205 here. Yeah, it's just the sideways trading that's killing us right now. All right, and now we are at 202. We have made a new low. So I am watching this closely because right now we're at a place where we'll either pivot and head back up to the 200 SMA, or we're going to continue downward. If we continue downward, I'm going to cut the loss. If we continue upward, then we could potentially see this trade become profitable again. So this is a very, very important level for us. And it's going to determine if we cut the trade today. We see rejection off the 20 or the 202 level. Still very much trading sideways. This is one of those we like to do in and out trades where we can be in, we can be out in less than a minute, walk away with $100. But the reality of the situation is that those trades are not the norm, and a lot of times this is more of like the normal. You'll see it going up and down, you'll see it trading sideways, and you have to make hard calls about whether to cut them or whether to stay in them. And the whole time you're doing this because we bought premium or we bought a call or put that is decreasing in value over time due to theta decay. And because we're doing 0 DTA or 0 DTE options, that theta crush or that theta decay can really be negative for us. So once again, perfect illustration of the risk of 0 DTE options. One way to mitigate this is you can actually buy 1 DTE, so you have an extra day in order for those to go into money or to be profitable. Those go out a little bit farther, and here we go. We've got the rise. At this point, I don't know if it's going to be enough to save the position even past 203, so we might just have to close our position with a slight loss, but we are going to watch and just see what happens. Just joined. What is the trade that has been placed? Yeah, the trade that was placed is a 203 call, and we're just waiting for it to hit. We're kind of trading in between 202 and 203. It's very sideways, and it's kind of driving the value of our trade down, which is really frustrating. But we're starting to head towards a buy cycle on the 5-minute chart. We're starting to see some more strength from the bulls. And so hopefully we will be able to push through that 203 strike and have a profitable trade today. That's our hope. Now we have to wait and see if that becomes reality. So that's kind of what the trade is and where we're at. we did just bounce off of our low of the day, which is exciting, as long as that remains our low of the day. If we push back down below that, I would recommend cutting this trade off. I'm going to cut the trade off if it does that. And if not, we're going to let it run for a little bit, and then we're going to exit around probably 10:30 or so. If it doesn't perform, if it just keeps trading sideways, there's no point in holding that, because theta decay is going to just destroy our position even more. And here we go. We're starting to see a little bit more bullish action. We're starting to see the close on the MACD of this sell cycle. Once the MACD, or the moving average convergence divergence, occurs, should see stronger bullish action. Hopefully that drives our our price past 203, maybe even to 204. If so, profitable trade. If not, then we may cut our loss. If we hit a strike price of 204 on the returns, my position right here will be worth about $438 of profit, or we'll have about $438 of profit. That's the good news. The bad news is that we're not there yet. So, still holding and still waiting and seeing. I mean, we don't even have to hit 203 before we're profitable in this trade. We just have to get near it. We're just in the middle of 202 and 203. It's back and forth right now. And we are heading back into another sell cycle on the 1 minute chart. But the good news is that our 5 minute chart is starting to close that sell cycle. So we'll have the trend on our side shortly. Price out, or $1 on the strike price, out of the money, which is a really profitable place to be if we hit the money. Man, what's really confusing is that on my chat, all the timestamps are in. It's kind of funny. I look over there and look at my time. It's 9:46 a.m. time. Look at that, and it says it's 8:46 Central Time. All right. We are reaching back down. It looks like we may be making a new low. We need to watch and focus on that. See what's going to happen here. Wow, Bitcoin is really taking a dive right now. Anybody want to play Fall Guys later? That's funny. I've actually never played Fall Guys. Is that the game where you're like running on the platform and then the ground is falling out beneath you and you land onto a different platform and then last person standing is the winner? I don't know. It's super fun. That's good to know. All right. We are starting to come up out of the sell-off cycle again. Very slow. It's very slow. Told you guys it was going to be a boring day today. Everything's just very sideways right now. I quit COD, been looking for something new. I actually used to play Call of Duty as well. Yeah. Haven't played that game in forever, though. And we have crossed into a buy cycle, a golden cross on the 1 minute chart. Finally, at long last. We could potentially have some upside movement, which is... It would be quite refreshing after all the up and down and the sideways trading that we've had for the last probably 15 minutes, 20 minutes maybe. No questions. Everyone's been really quiet today. No questions, no comments. We're sideways in a trade. We're entering into a buy cycle. It's exciting. It's trading. It's day trading. 0 DTE options on the indexes. But I think we're getting somewhere. We're starting to, at least. I think we're just going to trade sideways all day and not do anything, actually. No, I'm kidding. The thing about day trading, I'm watching these calls on pins and needles. Anyone get down with Destiny? I have played it before. I played that back in I think 2018 when the original Destiny came out or something. Whenever that one came out, I don't remember. Grabbed one same time as you did. Yeah, it's really frustrating because we expected a little bit of a run-up. We got a 2-candle run-up. We saw profit. We did not take that profit because we expected a larger run-up. And that larger run-up has just been taking forever to get here. The good thing is, with that, we haven't seen a major downturn. I mean, it's still trading between the 202 and 203 strike prices, with only twice has it even gone below 202. So that's kind of what's so frustrating about it. It hasn't been directional at all. There hasn't been a down direction. There hasn't been an up direction. It's just back and forth. So it's not like we made a terrible call. It's just the timing of buying those calls maybe was a little bit off. If we bought them right now, it'd probably be a much better trade. But we're still looking for that run up, which I think we should get. It's just taking forever. Because if we go any farther down, we're heading away from the 200 SMA. And what you'll notice with these indexes is that they really trade towards the 200 SMA. So if they're above it, they're always correcting down to the 200 SMA. And if they're below the 200 SMA, they're correcting back up to the 200 SMA. And it looks like we've just dipped below 202. Another really important. Taking some profits I should have took last week and stacking some cash. All right. Yeah, so let's take a look here. Focus on these candles. We're tagging along at the bottom still. Do have a bullish candle here. Looks like a firefly. So we may actually see our run now. It's looking that way. It's looking like we're pushing back up against those SMAs. Frustrating. It's part of day trading though. Here we go. On the 1 minute, we now have our golden candle. Hopefully this one is a longer. I'm sorry, I say golden candle. A golden cross. Doesn't have a ton of momentum, but we are in an uptrend. We watch here at the bottom of the MACD. We are in an uptrend. We're in an uptrend on the RSI. And we've got a contextual 5-minute chart sell cycle that's closing and about to transition into a buy cycle. We've got some hope. We've got some hope. Now we just need to wait and see. Top price here, 204.74. For the day, we have 205.13. All we need is for this candle to cross over the 203 mark, which is right here, to be profitable. That's not a hard thing to do. It's just really obnoxious because we bought on this candle here, which was showing a bullish trend coming up, and we have seen a sideways trend. But we're getting there. We're getting there. Here comes the bull trend over here on the 1 minute, and we're waiting for that. Taking some profits I should have took last week, stacking some cash. That's good. That's good. It is a good thing to have some cash. I took a lot of my positions that were in SPY and such over the weekends, a couple weekends back, and I closed those and held cash for a while. We're using that cash to trade right now. Rather than holding cash, rather than holding a position in SPY, which would have fallen, we've seen it fall like $50 or something like that now. Yeah. All right. We are starting to see a bull run. On the 1 minute, we've got a 4-candle streak of bull candles, green candles. It's trickling up to the 5 minute. We've got a higher RSI than we've seen in a long time. It's 41, which is not high at all. You think I should stop loss my call right now? Daniel, you can do that. But the fact of the matter is we're still trading within the numbers that we bought it at. We haven't gone up or down that far. We're still at 202. We bought it at 202 like 40 or 202.30 something. And we're at 202.20. So we're nearer the bottom, the low of the day, than we are the high of the day. We have a high over here at 205.13. We have a low of 201.92. So like practically 202. Where we make profit is right here at 203. or wherever your break even is, but it shouldn't be much higher than 203. So if we wait for this price to get to right here at 203, we'll be in the money. If we wait for it to get up here, we will have a ton of profit. If we sell it right here, we could sell it for a loss. So I would say, for the time being, I would hold that call unless the price begins to dip and pushes through our low of the price in a directional downward trend. Because we're trading sideways, we're going to see a larger run up. If we see a larger run up, you could sell then for less of a loss, or you could wait and hold it a little longer and potentially even see profit. And so, not that this is financial advice or a recommendation, but we aren't really seeing much directional movement either way. And so, yes, Theta is attacking that call, and Theta is taking away the value. But when we do see that directional trend, that's when we'll need to make that decision to cut it or to hold it. And my gut feeling is to hold it for now, just because it's so close to, I mean, it's pretty close. We'll see, we could potentially see pretty decent profit on this one still. All right, and we're seeing a run up 202.48, 202.52. We should start to see profit any second now on those trades. Okay, my break even is right before 203. And we are entering into a buy cycle. So let's wait and see. And there we go. We just increased by more than $20 per contract. All right, very strong bullish momentum here, which is good. I mean, we want bullish momentum. We want to see it increase. We want to see it keep going up. When I'm sitting in a trade and waiting for a profit, but I haven't hit my stop loss positions and the trade still looks like it could be potentially profitable, I always think back on that old quote, the watched pot never boils. And so, sometimes I will set a stop loss and a take profit value, and then I will get up and I'll walk away from my computer just so I don't have to watch the candles go up and down, back and forth. The reason why I hate Robinhood is because you actually can't do that. You actually have to sit there and watch it. And that puts a psychological strain on a person. We should be almost in the money right now. But that puts a psychological strain on you, on a trader, especially a newer trader, because they haven't sat back and watched, a trade as long or as many times as, someone who's been around day trading for a while has. And so to see it trading sideways and see the theta decay, it can be really, really demoralizing, and you can be very apt to cut those trades short. So Robinhood doesn't have a OCO, or a one cancels other order option. It's very, very terrible. You don't have, there's a couple things you don't have. You don't have trailing stop loss for your options. You don't have take profits for your options. You have to sit there and actively manage the position. So like for me, if I was trading with another platform, say like Tasty Trade or Tasty Live, Um, I could set like okay, if it hits this right here, it'll automatically stop out. Or, we can do a take profit at 203.25. You can't do that because, for instance, on Webull, if you do that, you can set up two levels. You can set one here and one here. If it hits this one, it cancels this one up here. So right now we're using Robinhood. I use Robinhood because it has a very good UI and a lot of people in the community use it. I don't recommend it though. If you're going to day trade, I personally think Tasty Trade is a way better platform. I think Webull's a better platform. I just think Robinhood is a more popular platform, and that's why I use that. That and the fact that this is not my main account. This is just a $30 challenge account that we've been growing from $30 since January. So that's kind of my spiel, I guess, on my love-hate relationship with Robinhood. You see a lot of, Robinhood takes more on commissions. It doesn't give you as good fill prices, 15-minute delayed options data, no trailing stop losses, no stop losses for spreads, no take profits, no one cancels other orders. A lot of things that should be just very, very basic features that a brokerage or a brokerage app has, Robinhood just doesn't have. And I've looked at the roadmap and stuff, and there's just no plan to add it. And it's kind of sad because they really have beautiful, they have a beautiful UI. The data that they show and stuff looks great. Like they have a very pretty, you can compare this to, I don't know, I think. Let's see. I'm going to try to show something here. I got to make sure that the account number is covered. Just give me a second here. I'll show you something. How can I do this? I'm trying to think. All right. So for instance, this is another trading platform I use. And you will notice that I'm hiding the account number. You'll notice like the interface is just completely, let's see, IWM. We got a couple different things. We got an order book over here. We have way faster high-speed data. Oh, looks like we have crossed over to 203 actually. Might check on our options. Yeah, we're up again. That's really nice. And so this is a lot faster updating, a lot better information. But it doesn't look pretty at all. Like, you take a look at this and you take a look at Robinhood, and Robinhood looks way nicer. But the fact of the matter is, this is a lot quicker to update, and it can, it's a better platform, but it doesn't look as pretty. And what you see is like a lot of people are using these pretty ones, which are I mean, they're beautiful interfaces, but they're not as good technically. Like you don't have that. You don't have. Let me open a different one. So another one I use. Again, I don't. Oh, thank goodness. Okay, so that's actually good. So my good to know. The account number does not show up there. So that, and then let me see. Setting it. Okay, well this one won't let me log in because the clock is out of sync. Basically, what I'm trying to show you guys is that Robinhood is a very beautiful app, but it doesn't have the features that you would want in a professional trading app. And so some of these other ones like Trade-Ovate, which is for futures, is what I use for my futures contracts trading, or some of these other trading apps. Let's see, Tasty. I think I have Tasty on this computer too. I don't have Tasty Trade on this one yet. But yeah, there's a lot better places. There's a lot better applications. Oh, even Webull, if you're going to use it and trade on your phone, Webull is better than Robinhood for the technical features and the ability to buy market data. Like we should be in, by the way, we should be in profit now. But yeah, it's just a frustrating thing, man. Really frustrating. Because I like Robinhood, but they don't give you the features that you need to be a successful day trader. I mean, 204.74. You guys can start taking profit at any point in time now. We are getting on up there towards the top. I don't know. I just feel like there's some features that Robinhood needs to add, and it's been years and they haven't even talked about adding them, and it's frustrating as a trader. Going back into a little bit of a sell cycle here, guys. If you didn't take profits when we popped above profits just a second ago, that's okay. We should have a little bit more of a run a little bit later. If not, you're more than welcome to close them. It'll be a small loss here if you close it right now. That's going to be up to you guys to make that decision, though. We do end these streams at 10:30, which is in about 20 minutes or 19 minutes. I will be ending the stream at 10:30. What I intend to do is I will see if it hits my 20%. You sold my call for 10% profit. Nice, Mike. That's awesome. That's great. We love to hear it. We love to see it. We wanted to see a longer run. It was a good call as far as the strike price and stuff. It was a little bit of an early buy-in, but we saw profit. That's what we like to hear. It's what we like to see. It's just kind of a little bit sad that we didn't get more. Anyways, as I was saying, we end the streams at 10:30. I'll stay in my position probably for now. I will take probably at a 20%, which is about a 1.25. So that's where I initially intended to take my profit. We are in profit again. SPY puts. I'm not looking at SPY, so I can't really tell you there. But what I intend to do now is I'm in profit right now. but I also see that we're in the initial start of a buy cycle, so I might just hold this for now and just see what happens. I don't really see anything terrible about holding this for now. But what I do see is that it could potentially go up to like 204, and if it hits 204, this call would be worth, at $204, it would be worth about $368, or a 1.58. And if I hold this through the afternoon, that would equate to about a 1.27. So I've put my sold for a small gain. I was at -30. To make it back to green was good on my side. Yeah. And like I'm saying, I think I'm going to hold mine for a little bit because I still see the run that's going. So now we are in profit. I'm up $50 again. I'm up $60 now. So I am going to sit here on this for a little bit because I think there's a lot more upside that we're missing out on. And I held it through the downside, so I'm going to hold it through the upside too now for a little bit. I mean, I could totally see this going up to like $140 per contract. Like realistically going up to $140 per contract. We are starting to tag out at the top. An app break. I don't know. I haven't decided yet. I have not decided. You know what? We'll call it a dub today. I'm gonna sell. Might as well take profit. I'm gonna teach good habits on this channel. We're in profit. The stream's ending soon, so we're gonna sell for. Excuse me. One contract sell. And boom, we just filled. We made about $50 today. At one point we were up over 100. We are out of our positions now. You may have seen it pop up here in the corner. We did make a small gain. And we're out of our position. I guess that'll wrap it up. I think we could have seen a lot more. I'm actually going to go in and I'm going to track that position and I'll post the closing in the Discord later today. Let's see. 203 call strike. And you can see we are out of it. Did sell it. See, here's the thing. Now it's at 120 and we sold for a small amount. So yeah, we could have made more. But it's more smart. Take those profits. Oh well. It was a ride. I'm gonna end it for today, I think. Out of our trade, we have 15 minutes left. I'm opening up. Anybody have questions? Anybody have comments? Anybody want to talk about a certain ticker or something now that we're not in a trade? Go ahead and send your questions in the chat. Also be checking the Discord. Let's see, who do we have here? Let's buy down hard. Apparently China and Germany both down, which appears to be deflationary data. And look at us, we're still rising. We're at 203.30. That call, the 203, is now at 115, trading at 115. That's unfortunate. 118. And still rising. I think we did okay today. It wasn't the best trade we've done, but we saw profit multiple times today. We should have done better, but we did okay. One step at a time. How's your day, ladies and gentlemen? Day's going great. We made some money. We wanted more. We didn't get more. 203.48. My goodness. I would have stopped. I would have filled out right there at profit for like $200. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not getting back into the market. I'm done for the day. We made our trade. We did it. We did it okay. That's really just going to be it unless there's any other questions in the chat, guys. So great work out there. Good job holding through what seemed like a upside down play. We did fine. Did fine. Wasn't amazing, but we did fine. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. My name is DK305007, and this has been Free the Trade. Tuning in live for Free the Trade, live analysis of SPY, IWM, QQQ, all the indexes, and placing live 0 DTE and 1 DTE options trades on Robinhood Legend online. This has been Free the Trade. We'll see you next Thursday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Thanks. And everyone, you guys have an excellent, wonderful, amazing rest of your day. We'll see you